So while Valentine's Day is often highlighted as a celebration of love, for some the day can be filled with maybe sadness, a little loneliness. Licensed mental health counselor Hallie Christis is joining us. I'm sorry. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate you.
Yes.
So tomorrow can be stressful, particularly if people are single. Maybe they call home to mom and dad. Mom's like, come on, when are you going to get married? And that puts a lot of stress on someone and can really impact their mental health. Do you have any advice for them?
And it is really hard. This is the first big holiday after New Year's where you go into the store and you're kind of bombarded with hearts and candy and flowers, and you're getting emails about setting up a reservation for a restaurant or something. So it can be really hard. I think really engaging in that aspect of self-love during this time, if you are finding yourself to be single or just newly out of a relationship, can be super helpful. So spending time with friends, you mentioned calling family, doing something like that, treating yourself to your favorite meal, going to the movies, doing something that really just hones in on that idea of self-love.
Yeah, I've been seeing something online, gal pals, right? Set something up,
right.
Hanging out with just some really good friends who may be in the same position as you. Now, what about there may be people who are in new relationships and Valentine's Day adds all of these pressures, or maybe people who are struggling in a relationship they're in, and this is kind of a reminder about whether or not they're really that happy.
Right.
Advice for them?
I think having an open conversation about what the expectations are for the holiday going into it can be super helpful. So if one partner wants to get a big gift and the other one isn't up to doing that or something like that, just having that open dialogue so both parties are on the same page. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just doing a fun night dinner at home, something like that.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is it might be hard to have that conversation at the beginning, but you won't probably regret having that conversation, so everybody's on the same page, because then you're saving yourself perhaps some disappointment that you weren't anticipating.
It's a hard conversation that in the long run it'll be super helpful.
For those who are feeling though lonely, is there some advice for them, particularly if they've reached this point where nothing seems to be working?
Counseling.
Yeah.
We welcome and love to have people come in and talk to us about things like that. And then it's just figuring out why they're feeling lonely, what other areas of life or activities that they can tap into. Because being in a romantic relationship doesn't have to be the only relationship in your life. Friends, family, church, social activities. Jacksonville has so many of those. And if we can kind of help them navigate those feelings of loneliness and how to change that so they feel more supported, that would be really great.
Yeah, putting all this pressure, that you have to be in a relationship, and who says you have to?
You don't have to be.
You need to wait for something that's right and not rush into something, right? As I would tell my teenagers as they get older.
Yes.
It's interesting because I think that sometimes there can be this stigma about therapy, but that's changing dramatically. In fact, there's new research that recently found that more than a quarter of Americans, 26%, would actually be likely to date someone who was actively or had previously been in therapy, and 61% say that it would not impact their interest either way. I think that this just reminds everyone, if you need help, particularly in relationships, whether or not you're in a relationship or not, don't be afraid to ask for it.
No, in counseling, you're just working to make yourself a better version of yourself. And even if you're single, that's a great thing to have. But if you're in a relationship, then you're able to be in that relationship as your best person. And counseling is so accessible now. Even where I work at ThriveWorks, we do in person, we do online. It's so accessible, and it's really easy to just do it from your home or to go into an office, and we do it so we can meet our clients' needs.
Yeah. And is this something that's available, anytime?
Yes. So ThriveWorks, we have offices all over the state of Florida, and we have 2 in Jacksonville, so one off of Herschel and one off of Sunbeam. So again, in office, virtually, really however you need it. And there's multiple different organizations or offices that offer the same thing as well.
Hallie, thank you for your time this morning.
We
appreciate it. I think, looking ahead to Valentine's Day and smiling regardless of what your situation is, use this as a way to treat yourself.
Yes.
Of
course.
I love it. I love it.